From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are following at this hour. A Republican lawmaker in Pennsylvania is trying to ensure health care coverage for reversing gender transitions, an idea that has already surfaced in other Republican-led states. Senator Michele Brooks of the 50th District said Medicaid or private insurance helps people pay for gender-affirming care, and she wants to guarantee these funding streams are also in place to undo the treatments. Regardless of one's views on transgender drugs or surgeries, there should be no disagreement on providing access to detransition care for those that need it, the Crawford County Republican wrote in a memo about her forthcoming legislation. If state or private payers fund transition, they must also fund reversal. However, LGBTQ advocates and other critics say proposals like these would put insurers on the hook for potential treatment costs in perpetuity and would drive up prices for gender-affirming care or discourage carriers from covering it at all. A number of studies have indicated that regret rates are low, less than 1%, among people who have received gender-affirming health care. Dissatisfaction levels are much higher than that for cosmetic surgeries, bariatric surgeries, and even tattoos, according to a 2024 paper. However, Brooks's memo highlights a couple of papers that have suggested a higher percentage of transgender people regret gender-affirming care. President Donald Trump's administration has set out to study regrets over gender transition while banning transgender people from military service and seeking to stop gender-affirming care for minors. Lawmakers in Texas recently passed a bill similar to the one Brooks is proposing. The legislation is now before Governor Greg Abbott. Florida legislators also considered the measure in 2024, but it died after passing the House. In other news, transgender athletes within the West Shore School District in Pennsylvania will be restricted to playing sports based on the gender listed on their birth certificate, with some exceptions, according to a new policy approved by the district's board Thursday evening. The policy, which passed 8-1, sparked several hours of public and board comment. Conservative board members say they want to ensure a level athletic playing field and meet the Trump administration's reinterpretation of Title IX rules, while opponents of the policy warn that it is likely a violation of anti-discrimination and equal rights laws. Not an outright ban, the policy allows accommodations for students who have not begun male puberty to play during that season on teams designated for females and in cases where the school does not offer a boys' team for a particular sport. The PIAA has said it is only aware of one active transgender athlete playing scholastic sports in Pennsylvania. 3 West Shore School District students spoke before the floor was open to the general public. A student speaker who identifies as transgender spoke about wanting to feel included. Are trans students truly a threat to the integrity of sports? Is it really a problem if someone like me isn't asking for special treatment, but simply for understanding, for the chance to coexist and build connections through athletics, the student said. Another student speaker said she believes that the board members are allowing their political biases to bleed into their school board roles. I've heard about 0 situations where there have been complaints about transgender students in this district, let alone athletics, the student said. So I raised the question, what exactly does this policy do if this has not been an issue? I will tell you what a policy like this looks like to me. This looks like certain members of this board are letting their political ideologies interfere with their role on this board. Of the board's 9 members, Abigail Tierney was the lone no vote. One of my biggest beefs with it, meaning the policy, is it doesn't reference the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act. And I'm fearful that our laws are different than other states, and we do have additional protection by the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act, Tierney said. It's actually why some of our specific legislators are attempting to create legislation to eliminate that protection. And I think we are on dangerous grounds by not acknowledging that. That's the news at this hour. Tomorrow is primary election day in Pennsylvania. Polls are open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. Up next is the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.